Welcome back. In this tutorial, I'm going to take a look at how you can set your levels for recording. Basically, you want your input to be as loud or hot as possible without clipping. One of the advantages of greater bit depth is the greater dynamic range, with each extra bit giving you about 6 decibels of volume or dynamic range. There's also more room to record your loud sounds. Basically, you can play or sing louder before you clip. Take the time to get to know your instruments. Every knob or slider on your equipment has an optimal range that'll yield the best performance and clarity with a minimum amount of noise. Predictably, the optimal range on every input and output varies from device to device. What we want to do is find out where the sweet spots are on each device and make sure that we stay as close as possible to those points. The benefits of this strategy include minimal distortion, low noise, and a better overall sound. The manufacturers of recording equipment define the sweet spots as the nominal level, that is, representing the best level for regular operation. Nominal level is also referred to as operating level, and it's engineered high enough to avoid distortion or clipping, and low enough to avoid amplifying residual noise that's present in the device. In other words, there's a lot of compression in sampled sounds. With most pieces of audio gear, if the output levels are set too low, then the next piece of equipment in the signal path is required to boost the levels in order to bring up the overall volume. Raising the level much past the nominal level has the unwanted side effect of also increasing the volume of the low-level noise on the input device. As a rule of thumb, you'll avoid this problem if you set the output levels of your instruments, effects, etc. as high as possible. The exception to this rule is when the output level is set so high that the device's input can't handle the signal and distorts or clips. In this situation, you must back off the output level until you hear a clean signal with no distortion. So how do you determine the nominal level of all your gear? Well, fortunately, most instruments' nominal level tends to be about 3/4 of maximum. Unless your documentation indicates otherwise, if your volume knob goes from 1 to 10, set it around 7, 8. If all equipment was built identically, your level problems would be over. Hook everything up, set each knob or slider at 3/4 and just start recording. Unfortunately, the output levels between external processors, keyboard modules, preamps, microphones, etc. can vary a lot. So test with your ears and not just your eyes. Check each input and adjust the levels individually, paying careful attention to noise and clipping. Push the volume up and check for clipping and noise. When you hear something that just doesn't sound quite right, stop and readjust the input and output controls until you get a clear sound. The investment you make to set the levels right is well worth your time. You can save this information for reuse, and it'll definitely show in the quality of your work. This concludes our segment on setting up your input recording levels. In our next several lessons, I'm going to talk about how you can mic various types of instruments. First, we'll be taking a look at recording drums. Then we'll move into bass, guitar, synth, and lead vocals, etc.